Hello, hello, you beautiful beings of light. It is Mandy. Happy Thursday. I trust everyone's created an amazing day today. I'm going to give you guys just a tad bit of time to jump on. If you're around, tune in, say hi. If you're catching the replay, just hashtag replay below and say what's up. I trust everyone created an amazing Thursday. I had a great day today. Crushed an awesome workout. I think that'll be enough. I crushed an awesome workout this evening or afternoon, whenever that was. When you jump on, comment below and say what's up. I see I have some viewers. It doesn't show me who it is. So say hi if you feel called. Hashtag replay at the bottom if you're catching the replay. I think that's you, Talise. I see your profile picture really small at the bottom. And forgive the lighting. Forgive the lighting. It's not the best lighting. I'm actually sitting in my car at the park. I'm about to get out and do a little bit of earthing and some prayer, some meditation, and hang out here for a little bit. And I'm just sitting in my car at the moment. I decided to record a quick little video for you guys and say what's up and remind you guys of how amazing you are. Send you lots of love, super positive, high vibes, healing energy, sending it through the phone. So if you're here tuning into this video, like I said, whether you're watching it live or catching the replay, comment below and say what's up. Feel free, obviously, to share this video as well to your timeline if you choose, or tag anyone that you feel might resonate with this information. What's up, Chip? I see your profile picture at the top. How are you guys doing? I appreciate the love. Hi, gorgeous. So good to see you. I've messaged you a few times too, so just get back with me when you have some time. So this is what I want to talk about tonight. You have the permission to change. You can change. It's okay for you to change. And one of the famous quotes that I love by Alan Watts is, you are under no obligation to be the same person you were even 5 minutes ago. Literally, like 5 minutes ago. You're under no obligation to even be that same person. You can make a decision right now and completely change in whatever area of your life that you choose. It's all up to you. You have the power. That's one of the beautiful things about being a human being and us having the brain power that we have, is that we literally can make decisions and do things differently, unless you choose to be unconscious, right? And unless you choose to, I always allude to it as being like a train on tracks, where you're a train on tracks and you're just going, and the destination is pretty much exactly where it's going in terms of wherever the train is and wherever the train is on the tracks and wherever the tracks is leading a person to. So like I said, the beautiful thing is that we all have the ability to make different decisions, make different choices, and essentially shift the outcome in whatever area it is that we choose. So hi, Rico, how are you? Chip says, how you doing, Angel? I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for tuning in. So once again, Alan Watts, if you don't know who he is, feel free to Google him and check out some of his content on YouTube. I'm all about listening to the high vibe people on YouTube or wherever I can get high vibe content. I mean, there's so much out there. I do tend to mention a lot of this stuff on my live videos to support people in having more wisdom, having more knowledge, having more awareness. So Alan Watts, his famous quote is, you are under no obligation to be the same person you were even 5 minutes ago. And that's so true. And I just love that. Like you're under no obligation to be the same person you were even like 5 seconds ago, right? You can literally make a decision right now and do something different. So I want to bring this up to you to support you in having this in your awareness. If you have an area of your life where you're choosing to transform and you're choosing to make some changes, okay, and maybe it's easy for you, maybe it's not, you know, whatever that looks like, I invite you to begin to think about that version of yourself, okay? And that version of yourself, how would that version of yourself think? How would that version of yourself be feeling? And how would the version of yourself be acting, okay? Obviously, action is key. Action is one of the main things that requires shifting in order for someone to create something new. And we get to remember, though, that our thoughts and our feelings typically lead up to our actions. So thinking about that version of yourself. Let's say, for example, because I am a personal trainer, yoga instructor, nutritionist, Reiki healer, like all the amazing things, consciousness coach, I do a lot, right? So I like to use the example a lot of times of people who are choosing to release body fat, get in shape, get healthier, you know, get off medications, whatever that looks like. So if that is something that is a goal for you, how would that version of you be thinking, feeling, and acting, right? Chances are that version of you would require creating time to get to the gym, or go to the Pilates class, or go to a yoga class, or whatever it is you choose to do, that person, you would be requiring to think a lot differently about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and is it possible, is it doable, do you believe that it's possible, do you believe that you can accomplish these things, and how would that person feel, how would that version of yourself feel? Well, chances are, once you make a decision, that's why my hashtag is make a choice to make a change. That's one of my hashtags that I use. It's literally that simple, that you make a choice to make a change. How would the version of you feel now that you've made that decision? Chances are you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel, a lot better about yourself. And then just start. Like, once you make the decision to just start and do something, more than likely you're going to continue on that path, right? But if you never start, then you will never know. So you get to be aware of that in your own mind. How are you thinking? How are you feeling? How are you acting? And how would that version of you be showing up differently? I have my little notes over here. Another thing I want to mention is you can literally take out a piece of paper. You can write this stuff out, and see it on a piece of paper. And how would the version of yourself, now that XYZ, how would they be thinking, feeling, and acting? So maybe you have a goal of releasing 10 pounds of body fat. Maybe you have a goal of fitting into a certain size of, jeans, or whatever that might be for you. And you can even put yourself in the end, which is what I love to do, which is a very powerful tool for manifesting. You literally put yourself in the end. So you see yourself from the end, basically, right? So if your goal is this, then now that you've accomplished whatever that is, what is new and different for you? How are you thinking? How are you feeling? How are you acting? Like, what's going on in your world now that you've accomplished that goal? So that's another really awesome way to manifest and create, is that you put yourself in the already done. I love to use that phrase a lot as well. Put yourself in the already done. Meaning that you're no longer in the place where you're in the gap from where you are now to where you're desiring to be, but you are literally already there. So you're putting yourself in the place of already done. You've already accomplished the goal. And now that you have, how are you thinking? How are you feeling? How are you acting? And then start being in alignment with that version of yourself, of how you would be thinking, feeling, and acting. Chances are you wouldn't be stopping on the way home and getting Burger King, or you wouldn't go home and be pouring a glass of wine, or, whatever. I could use tons of examples. You know who you are. You know what you're doing. If this video is speaking to you, clearly you're here for a reason. Or maybe, this video is resonating with you in other areas. But the reality of it is that most people, same thing. They're like a train on tracks, and they're there, and that's just the destination they're going in. And unfortunately, you wake up how many ever years later or whatever, and you're going, what's happened with my life? Where am I? What's happened here? That's why consciousness is king, and consciousness is so important, that you're literally being aware of yourself, of your thoughts, of your desired outcome, of your actions, the people that you're surrounding yourself with. What are you choosing to invest your time and energy in? Something else that's really key is to look at where you have leaks in your energy. So where are you focusing your energy? Because whatever you focus on is going to expand and grow. So if you're focusing on negative thoughts, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're berating yourself for your current appearance, chances are it's going to be very challenging for you to get the results that you're desiring. Because honestly, self-love is the key to transformation. I appreciate the love, whoever that was. I saw your beautiful little profile picture, but I'm not sure. I couldn't see it clear enough to see who it was. It doesn't always show me who's on these videos, so feel free to comment below and say what's up. Hey, Mackie, how are you? I appreciate the love, though, honestly, so much. So if you're in a place where you're condemning yourself, berating yourself, and feeling, some type of way, chances are you're going to have challenges getting to your end result, okay? Self-love is the key to transformation. I've mentioned this a lot, that we're literally like little kids in grown-up adult bodies. So if you're like a little 3 or 4-year-old child in a grown-up adult body, how would you treat a 3 or 4-year-old little child that maybe looked a certain way, or, did this or didn't do this in a certain way? So come from a place of love, okay? I talked about this in one of my other videos I've done. This is my 3rd video this week. So if you scroll down my timeline, you'll see I did one on Monday night. I did one Tuesday night. I didn't do one last night. I was doing some stuff for the new moon. By the way, happy new moon in Pisces, which was yesterday. And in some parts of the world, it's still going on today. So you might even be feeling some effects of the new moon, especially if you're sensitive like me, that it's a very beautiful thing. And actually, new moons are really good times to set new intentions for yourself, but you can honestly do that anytime. You don't require the moon cycle to do that. But if you scroll on my timeline, you'll see some other videos where I was talking about some of these same things here. There's also some links to some things in the comments of those videos, and then I did one last Friday as well. So feel free to scroll down my timeline, check those out. Also, there's the link, like I said, to my Emotional Detox Challenge group, as well as my YouTube channel. So I have a lot of content and information there as well. But now I'm choosing to remember my train of thought. Basically, being aware, though, that's what I was talking about, because in some of the other videos I was talking about that we're literally like little kids in grown-up adult bodies. And so it's like, how would you treat a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old little boy or little girl? Like, you get to come from a place of self-love. We are our own best friends. That's where I was going with this. Our minds are our own best friends. Literally, no one else can think your thoughts for you, okay? Other people might pose challenges in your life. You know, they might trigger you. They're your greatest growth partner if that's the case, honestly, because anyone who triggers you is just triggering you into more growth and expansion, which at the end of the day is a very beautiful thing, because that's what we're here for. We are all souls and spirits here having a human physical experience. We are extensions of God, and we're essentially God in a human body. How cool is that? So, God in me can is another one of my affirmations. I mean, the truth is that you can do anything that you choose to do and that you make up your mind to do. And we all know that. It's just applying yourself. And sometimes people require a coach, they require a cheerleader, they require a mentor, they require someone to support them, hold them accountable, motivate them, inspire them. I trust that is what I do for people on my timeline. Honestly, that's one of my my divine missions, I feel, is to support other people and having their conscious awareness. So becoming aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. How are you treating yourself? You are your own best friend. If you have a goal, but yet you beat yourself up about stuff all the time, then chances are you're going to have quite some challenges getting there. And the reason I can speak about this so openly and with so much passion is because I myself have been through a lot of things in my life, and I myself have also overcome a lot of things in my life. And I alluded to some of these things in my other videos. But the truth is that you guys, we can all decide to do something differently. You're under no obligation to be the same person you were even 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes ago. And you can make a decision right now to be completely different, and that's okay. It's up to you. The power and choice is always yours. And the beauty of it is that the power is always in the present moment of now and now and now and now and now. And someone else you may choose to check out is Eckhart Tolle or Eckhart Tolle. I choose to know. A lot of people say Tolle, but then some people say Tolle. It's Tolle. He has a book that's actually called The Power of Now. That's a really powerful book. Hey, what's up, Trey, my friend? I appreciate you. So if you choose, check him out. I also mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza on some of my other videos. You can look up Abraham Hicks, which is on YouTube as well. Alan Watts, Joseph Murphy. Who else? I mean, there's so many. I listen to so many different people. When I work out, I listen to motivational audios. Only about 10% of the time do I listen to music, but most of the time I'm listening to motivational audios, and I'm constantly feeding my mind, because whatever you have going on, whatever you're feeding yourself is going to be a lot of what is in your outer world. It's your Neville Goddard is another one. He talks about out picturing. He talks about our imagination and how whatever we imagine in our imagination is literally what we're out picturing, and that whatever's going on in your outer world, I say this a lot too, whatever's going on in your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So I invite you to begin to feel into what is it that you're watching on TV, if you even watch TV. Like, I hardly ever watch TV. I love to watch football. I'm not gonna lie. I love to watch college football. I'm a big Aggie football fan. I like to watch NFL, not necessarily conscious, right? Because they're in helmets and they're whatever, hitting each other. And also too, sports can be just another way for people to numb themselves. But as long as I'm consciously aware, I feel that it's okay for me to do those things. But I'm also very aware. But I used to be one of those people that would watch like murder mysteries on TV and crime shows. What in the F? Like, you can't even catch me watching that stuff nowadays. I do not want any of that going anywhere into my consciousness. I'm very particular about what movies I'll watch. That's why I hardly ever go to the movies anymore. I will only watch certain types of movies. So being aware of like what you're putting into your mind, like what shows are you watching on TV, what movies are you watching, what music are you listening to? Like, even the music that I listen to, I mean, there is something such as conscious rap. I mean, you can find conscious music with good beats. You can even just listen to music that's just good beats, that doesn't necessarily have lyrics. You can find a lot of that stuff on Spotify and on YouTube. But you have to remember that that's why subliminal messages are so powerful. So if you're listening to music and you're watching television television shows and you're watching movies about people who are getting, murdered and, people cheating on people and, divorce and people who are sick and people who are just bad people in general, overall bad energy, meaning that after you watch a certain thing or after you listen to a certain thing, you don't feel very good inside. That, my friend, is your indication that that was not your highest choice. And I invite and encourage you to begin to feel into how you feel after you have some kind of interaction with these types of things, whether it's stuff that you're watching on TV, whether it's movies that you're watching. It could be like a Debbie Downer, someone who constantly loves to come and just emotional dump and tell you all their challenges. And you can create healthy boundaries and let those people know, like, hey, I'm not available for this right now. I'm not available to hear your emotional dumping for your situation. I'm just not. So becoming more aware of yourself and your own energy and like where you're leaking energy, because a lot of times people do leak energy, whether it's social media, it could be gossiping, it could be binge watching, it could be these reality TV shows, soap operas. Like, I could just name so many different things, but most of the time people are completely unaware of these things. They're literally completely unconscious of the things that they are doing on a daily basis, and they wonder why their life's a mess, or they wonder why their life's a wreck, or they wonder why they're overweight. They wonder why they have challenges with anxiety and emotional eating and binge eating, and maybe you or whoever you might know might be having really challenging relationships with their loved ones, with their significant other, romantic partner, as well as could be your children. And just to be honest, a lot of time a children is just reflecting to you your own emotional state. So if you have little kids and they're constantly feeling some type of way, chances are they're just reacting, because babies, little kids, and animals are very, very sensitive. They're very sensitive spiritually. And they are going to be reacting to the energy that they feel coming from you. And I've even had instances where, there was one time where, this is when I lived in St. Augustine, Florida. I pulled up to this farmer's market, and there was this lady, and she was probably like in her mid-30s, and she had 2 kids, and they were in a little wagon, like a little red wagon. And she was about to pull them into the farmer's market. Well, the little girl was just screaming and crying and just throwing a tantrum and throwing her toys. And the lady's on the phone, and she's like huffing and puffing, and then like her little boy was, I guess, trying to help or something, but she was like jerking on him and yelling at the daughter. And I went over there and just very kindly started talking to her, and I said, hey, do you mind if I chat with your kids? And so I squatted down and I said hi. I was like, hi. I talked to the little girl, I was talking to the little boy. And within seconds, the little girl stopped crying. The little boy was just standing there looking at me. And the whole energy dynamic of the situation completely transformed because of my energy approaching them and standing there and being with them and being the love and being the light. And then, of course, the lady's like, whoa, because then she's trying to figure out like what I just did to her kids. So then she ends up getting off the phone, and I just had a small little loving chat with the lady, kind of telling her what I'm telling you here. And she's like, oh, I wasn't aware. Like, I had no idea. She's like, but that makes sense, because if you really think about it, it does make sense. It's kind of like if you're in a bad mood, you're going to be having a bad day, right? Because your energy is a certain kind of way. And say, for instance, you wake up in the morning, you wake up late, you're in a bad mood, so you're all whatever, and then you get toothpaste on your shirt, and then you're rushing around, and then you stub your toe, and then you get dressed, and you realize that, I don't know, your shirt has a stain on it, and then on the way to work you spill your coffee, and then you have a flat tire, or you get pulled over by the cops for speeding. Like, it is literally like a domino effect, but that's just because of the frequency that you're on, because everything is energy, right? So it can logically make sense to a person when you really begin to become more aware of these things, how you're thinking and how you're feeling. And there's another phrase I'll share with you too. This might be something you guys might want to write down. How you think is how you feel. How you feel is how you vibrate, and how you vibrate determines what you attract. And when I say vibrate, I mean your emotional frequency, or your frequencies that you're emitting. And I talked about this in my other videos too. Imagine yourself like a radio tower, right? So if you're a radio tower, and whatever you're thinking and feeling is what you're vibrationally emitting, okay? Because just like I'm in my car right now, I could put it on 979 The Box and hear rap and hip hop, or I could put it on a country station, which I can't think of a country station. I do like country music though. But in other words, like, you put it on a certain radio station and you get that frequency, so therefore you get that radio station or that radio channel. So you get to become aware that however you're thinking and feeling is how you're vibrating, meaning that's the frequency that you're on, and that's the station, let's say, that you're tuned into, and you're going to get back more of the same. You are going to get back more of the same. you are going to get back more of the same. So I invite you, and hey, I'm not 100% of the time. I actually had some stuff earlier today that I was triggered by, and I was feeling some type of way for a little while, and I required getting myself back into alignment. So like I said, I'm not over here preaching like as if I'm perfect and I'm 100% of the time. The reality of it is, though, is that I'm more consciously aware now of how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling and what I'm focusing on, because I understand that what I'm focusing on expands. So what are you going to put your energy into? You know, where is your awareness at? And are you thinking about how you're even thinking? Are you thinking about what you're thinking about? I think it was Joyce Myers who used to say that. I'm just going off over here. What's up, Shannon, my beautiful soul sister? Sarah, what's up, Micah? How are you, gorgeous? Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for the love. I think that was you, Shannon, a second ago. I appreciate you, gorgeous. So I'm just going off because that's what I do. I start talking, and then one thought leads to another thought. I get all excited. But are you even thinking about what you're thinking about? Because most of the time people are not thinking about what they're thinking about. It's like they're just letting the thoughts come in and letting the thoughts just wallow around. And I promise you this, that if you are getting triggered by something, and just think of emotions as energy. Okay, so the word emotions, E-motion. So think of emotions as just being energy. So if you feel a specific emotion and you understand, and you say, okay, well, it's energy in motion, and you let yourself feel it, and then you let yourself release it without attaching any kind of story to it. Because when you attach some kind of story to it, chances are, I mean, there are such things as trapped emotions, obviously, but you actually will then create some kind of resonance with it in whatever way, because you've attached something to it, and chances are you're going to be feeling that quote unquote emotion a lot longer than you probably desire to be feeling it. Let's just say anger, for example. But, or cancel on but, and it is definitely okay to feel your emotions. I'm not saying to not feel them. I'm just inviting you to be aware that you can actually feel them and release them. You can feel them and let them go. Like, it's okay to let yourself feel it and to let yourself let it go without having to attach something to it, some kind of story or whatever it is, attached to it, and then hanging on to it for a lot longer than you require. Just remember that whatever you're putting out is what you're getting back. So whatever you're emitting based on what you're thinking and feeling, and like I said, how you're vibrating is what you're going to get back. So if you love what you're getting back, that's what I tell my clients all the time. If you love your outer world and you love what's being reflected to you, then by all means, keep going. By all means, keep doing what you're doing. Chances are you don't, though. Chances are you might in certain areas of your life, and then there may be a couple areas of your life, and I can guarantee you have at least probably one area of your life where you're not really loving or liking the feedback that you're getting in that area, okay? And you can transform that, okay? There's lots of ways of doing it. I teach this stuff. I'm really passionate about it. Clearly, I have a lot of programs on this stuff. And I'm just here to open up your mind and let you become aware that, you know, there are ways to overcome whatever those things are, even if it's something that you've been dealing with or experiencing for, you know, could have been the last 10, 15, 20 years. Like I said, the power is always in the present moment of now. And that was the whole point of me doing this video, is reminding you guys that, once again, you're under no obligation to be the same person you were even 5 minutes ago. I'm quoting Alan Watts. You're under no obligation to be the same person you were ever. It doesn't matter. You can literally make a decision to do something different. And even if, you know, someone else looks at you and goes, what? Wait a minute. No way. Like, you've always been a drinker. You've always been a smoker. Or you've always been XYZ. It doesn't matter. Like, that person is not you. And you were the one living your life. Like I said, you were the one thinking your own thoughts. And so if you're not happy, and happy is not the only thing. If you're not thriving, okay, happiness is obviously, you know, really important, and happiness is key. I do believe happiness is an inside job, and I don't believe a person's going to be 100% happy 100% of the time. But the reality of it is if there is a part or area of your life that you are not thriving and you feel could be better, just know that you can transform that and you can change it, and it can be better for you if you choose, right? It takes a committed effort. I talk about that all the time. It's moment to moment to moment. It takes commitment. I haven't drank in over 6 years. In the beginning, that took a committed effort. Now it takes no effort at all because I have no desire. Like, I'm so happy. Everything's good. I would rather be present and conscious in my current reality than numb myself with alcohol, you know. That's my personal testimony. If you drink, that's your business. No condemnation, you know, whatever that might look like for you. I had a girl message me the other night, and she was talking about she has challenges with anxiety and she has challenges with emotional eating. And I said, believe me, I've been there before too. I mean, there was even times in my life where even though I was eating healthy food, I still was like binge eating. I remember, I've told this story many times, but I made some like faux mashed potatoes, which is like the organic cauliflower. And so I took this big head of organic cauliflower, I boiled it, and then I, mashed it up, and I stirred it up, and I put a little bit of ghee in there and a little bit of organic like garlic salt or garlic powder. I still remember this when I was living in my apartment in Houston, and I was watching some sad ass movie that I'd rented from Redbox, like some kind of romantic movie or whatever, love story that was like heart pulling on the heartstrings. And I just remember watching it and feeling all of these really like heavy emotions and sadness or whatever. And I was eating the cauliflower, and I was probably already full after like 1 or 2 bowls of the cauliflower. And I kid you not, I ended up eating the whole amount that I made, which was like a whole pot. And obviously cauliflower is high in fiber. It will expand in your digestive tract. And I remember being so full. I had like a basketball belly. And I was just like, ooh. And I remember feeling that. And I then became aware. This is when I first started getting into consciousness. And I had learned about a lot of things, but they weren't like concrete, in my being yet. But I remember after that feeling that was so uncomfortable, and then I had my awareness in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh. So clearly I was, feeling some type of way based on the movie that I was watching, and I was just like eating, and I wasn't even hungry anymore, but I just kept eating it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So the reality of it is that may not be your experience. It may not be with you watching some movie. It may just be that you're on a certain frequency because you're focusing on something that has you feeling some type of way. And so you are reaching for something to help yourself feel better. So maybe it's alcohol, or maybe it's candy, or maybe it's chocolate. Chocolate's a big one for a lot of people. If you have cravings for chocolate, chances are you're very low in magnesium. So you can try taking a magnesium supplement. And you can also try taking Epsom salt baths, because Epsom salt baths are just magnesium sulfate, and it's absorbed through your skin because our skin's very porous. So you could try taking Epsom salt baths. And if you do have chocolate cravings, I would invite you to get like organic chocolate and get like the highest count that you can, like the 80 count or whatever that you can find, because it's very high in antioxidants. So that would be a better version than having like Hershey Kisses or a Snickers bar or M&Ms. But I'm not gonna lie, I still eat certain things when I choose to. When I have a desire to have something, I am not perfect by no means, and I will still have whatever that looks like. I give myself permission to do those things. But chances are, I just ate salad bar at Jason's Deli earlier. This is the 3rd time that I had it this week, to be honest. So for me, like, those things aren't challenges for me in terms of eating healthy and working out and doing all those things, because it's part of my self-image. Hey, Abby, how are you, beautiful? Hey, Tammy, how are you? Oh my gosh, I had to drink some water right quick. Tammy, me and my mom miss you. We were talking about you the other day. So anyway, back to what I was saying is something else I was going to bring up too. What was I saying at the end of that? I get all distracted. Hang on, I gotta drink some more water. The water in my cup's starting to run low. So, what was the other thing? What was I just saying? Someone typed below, what was that last little line? I think I might have it here in my notes. What was that last little line I was saying? Because I was going to bring that up too, but I've already been on here so long. Oh, your self-image, yes. Thank you, Lord. Self-image. I talked about this in my last video. We all have a self-image. So you can stop. This is another thing you can do with your piece of paper and a pen. You can stop and ask yourself, how do you quote unquote see yourself? Okay. Yes, physically, how you see yourself. But your image in your mind is what I'm asking you about. How do you actually see yourself? Do you see yourself as a successful person that sticks to their goals, that makes decisions and follows through easily? These are all parts of us developing relationships with ourselves, where we actually trust ourselves to accomplish whatever it is that we set out to accomplish. There's a whole process that goes into it, because a lot of times, a piece of hair. A lot of times people make decisions to do something and then they don't stick with it, right? Like, for instance, the New Year's resolutions, I brought that up on my last video. So being aware of, your own thought processes, your own relationship with yourself. When you say that you're going to do something, do you do it? Do you follow through with it? What is your self-image? Not only how you see yourself physically, but overall. If someone else was to look at you and give a description of what they see, as far as what they see, physically, but then maybe how they interpret you, like say your best friend, like someone you've known for a really, really, really long time, that could maybe say, you know what, Mandy is ... and Mandy ... Chances are that person's going to probably be pretty close to whatever your self-image is, because they've known you for so long and they've seen these things about you. So maybe you choose to, ask someone else to support you in doing this. But the reality is that we all know what our self-images are. So I invite you to begin to fill into what that self-image is like. And that's how you change, is by changing your self-image. So if you don't like your self-image, then you start to do the things to transform your self-image. And I talked about this some in my last video. I would invite you to maybe get some pictures out. If you have some pictures of yourself when you were looking how you desire to look now, you can hang those pictures up in your bathroom mirror. You can put one, let's say, like on your speedometer in your car. You put one on the refrigerator. This is actually part of one of my programs too. You can do that with pictures. They are the pictures of you, or they can be pictures you cut out of a magazine of, someone else that you look at, that you admire, that motivates and inspires you. You can do it with the pictures. You can do affirmations. So you can write affirmations out on Post-it notes. You can begin to speak affirmations out loud. You can listen to affirmations. You can go onto YouTube and search Louise Hay affirmations, and there's tons of YouTube videos with affirmations. And because subliminal messaging is so powerful, you can actually have those affirmations playing in the background, like say while you're at work. They don't have to be on super loud. You don't have to consciously be listening to every single thing that the affirmation is saying, or that the tape or the video or whatever you're listening to is saying. Not tape, but video. Just having it going on in the background will literally help you by imprinting that into your subconscious mind, imprinting it into your subconscious mind. You can also listen to some guided meditations, like at night on the way to go to sleep, because you're in the theta state, which is really crucial. It's a part of time when it's first thing in the morning. I'm gonna have to get off here in a second. My energy is getting really low. Hang on one second. I appreciate everybody who's on here live, by the way. So the first thing in the morning when you wake up, and last thing at night before you go to sleep, your brain is in a theta state, which means it's like a sponge, and it's literally able to absorb very easily. And that's how you can reprogram your subconscious mind. So go to my timeline, check out those other live videos. In the comments, there's some links. There's a link to the Universal Mind Meditation by Kelly Howell, which is very, very powerful. And you can listen to that at night. I recommend as you're going to sleep at night, but you can also listen to it in the morning whenever you wake up and you're still kind of in that state. What else? Earthing is really powerful. So get outside, take your shoes off. Even if you don't take your shoes off, sit in the grass, hug a tree, get into the water, get into the ocean, get into the lake, whatever that looks like. Epsom salt baths, really powerful. Essential oils will also help shift your vibrational frequency. Visualization in your own mind, like when you're going to bed at night, closing your eyes, picturing yourself, picturing your life, picturing everything how you desire it to be. Take your energy and attention and focus off of your current reality, unless your current reality is what you desire it to be. It's really that simple. If whatever your current reality is, if it's freaking amazing, then keep focusing there. Keep focusing. And guess what? You have different areas of your life. So let's say you had 5 areas of your life. I like to use the areas of health, wealth, career, and you can even look at like love life. And what was the other one? Well, let's just say maybe 4 areas then. You can make them more detailed, but you can look at like your relationship, you can look at your job and your career, you can look at your finances, and you can look at your health base. And the health can encompass like your physical appearance with your, your nutrition, and where you're at with, how you feel physically about yourself. If you're choosing to release body fat or put on more muscle or become more flexible or whatever that looks like. So say you have those areas of your life, and say one of the areas of your life is going really, really, really well, but say all the other areas are not so great. If you will just use your conscious awareness and your attention to focus on the area of your life that's going really, really, really well, chances are you will bring up the energy of the other areas that aren't going so well. So let your focus and attention go on the things that are good, that are going well, that bring you, happiness and joy and peace, and be grateful. But be grateful for all of it anyway. But remember that gratitude is the highest vibrational frequency. Love and gratitude is the highest vibrational frequency in the universe, okay? So staying in that place is what's really going to support you. And so what I was going to say, and I'm going to finish with this. When you're going to bed at night, thank you so much for the love. Whoever that is, comment below. I see your profile, but it's so little. I can't see. You're in a dress. You're in a dress. Yeah, comment below. I'm going to look after I get off here. I can't see. I think it may be Aurelia, but I'm not sure. Anyway, last thing at night before you go to bed, visualize. Use the power of your imagination, okay? One more thing I got to bring up really quick. The brain and the subconscious mind does not understand negatives. It does not understand not. So if I told you right now, do not think of a purple elephant. Do not think of a purple elephant. Do not think of a purple elephant. What are you thinking of right now? All of us, including me, are thinking of a purple elephant, right? So understand that if you're affirming and decreeing from the negative about what you don't want, you are still putting that out there into the universe. You're still energetically affirming whatever that is. So be aware of what you're saying, okay, how you're saying it. And if you're writing affirmations, like I said, do not write them in the negative. Do not write do not or I choose not or whatever. And plus you can't ever choose not anyway. It's not possible. So whatever it is that you're desiring, whatever it is you're affirming and decreeing, it comes from the positive of the I am, and it comes from the already done, whatever that looks like for you. I don't prefer that anyone focus on a number on the scale or even maybe size of the pants. But let's just say if you said, I am a size 6. I am a size 6. I'm a size 6. I'm just using that as an example. I think I'm actually like a 2 or a 4, and some stuff I'm a 0. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. It doesn't even matter to me how much I weigh. I look at more about how I look in my physical appearance in the mirror. It doesn't matter to me how much I weigh. Muscle weighs more than fat anyway. It's more dense, but it takes up less space. So if you're starting to work out and lift weights, but the scale number or the number on the scale is actually getting higher, it's simply because you're gaining more muscle mass. Okay. So being aware of that, especially for females. I remember, back when I used to train clients in person, a lot of times they'd start working out with me and they'd freak out because the number on the scale was actually going up. And I'm like, well, that's just because you're putting on more muscle, right? But your pants are fitting looser. We do your circumference measurements, which is another good way to target and track your progress, is get yourself a little seamstress tape. I think they're like $1 or something at Walmart. And start measuring yourself, measure your waist, then put your feet together, measure your hips, measure each one of your thighs or quads. You can measure your chest. You can measure your biceps. So measure yourself using circumference measurements. So like if you were saying affirmations in regards to that and say you desire to be a size 6 and right now you're a 12 or, a 10 or whatever that looks like, you can just affirm and decree, I'm a size 6. I'm a size 6. So speaking your affirmations into existence from a positive standpoint, because once again, the brain, the subconscious mind, God, source, creator, universe, infinite intelligence, the energetic field, which we all have surrounding us, we're all part of one huge energetic field, and we are all one, right? Consciousness, we are literally all one. But the reality is that it doesn't understand negative. So if you are affirming and decreeing of, I don't want to be a size 12. I don't want to be a size 12. I don't want to be a size 12. Well, guess what you're putting out there? You're straight up putting out there size 12. And that's all that's being heard and felt energetically. And that's the frequency that you're on. So hopefully that was a good little example. It might have been a little bit, exaggerative or elaborative or whatever, but anyway, that's just the example that was coming to my mind. So affirmations is another really good one. And then like I was saying before, because I'm going to wrap this up, what's up, Christopher? How are you? Hey, Rosie, my beautiful soul sister, all the way over there in Bali. Mwah! Sending you so much love, sister. I'm going to wrap this up with this. Visualization is a really powerful technique. So as you're going to bed at night, as you're waking up first thing in the mornings, and I invite you to take time during the day to take even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or your lunch break or whenever that is, to literally close your eyes, do a little bit of a meditation, get in alignment with your head and your heart, and visualize how you desire your life to be, from very little details to the grandest vision that you can possibly imagine, because your imagination is what you're out picturing, meaning whatever you're seeing out there is what's going on in here. Who is that throwing up those love? Who is that in that dress? I can't see your profile picture close enough. Comment below. I appreciate you, gorgeous. I'm trying to figure out who it is because it just shows me little bitty tiny pictures. So your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. That's another easy way of saying it. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. I promise you guys, when I started learning all of these truths, this is how I changed and transformed my life. I was like, really? Like, I can really change my life? I can really start using, my mind to do certain things, to create certain things. And it's just beautiful. And I'm so passionate about it. If you couldn't tell, I don't even know how long I've been on here talking. But the reality is that I'm passionate about it because I've done it for myself, and I have a lot of clients who I've supported in doing the same thing. And now I just choose to share with as many people as I possibly can to support you in liberating yourself. I don't do it for you, and I don't do it for them. I'm just the coach. I provide the tools, I provide the motivation, I provide the accountability and the support, but I don't do it for anyone. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do so. I'm not able to wave any kind of magic wands, but I can teach people how to do it for themselves. And Like I said, thank you so much, Shannon Gorgeous. I acknowledge your commitment too. I know you've had some of my support in the past. And yeah, I mean, it's just about having the tools, having the knowledge, having the awareness, and you're literally liberating yourself. It's a beautiful thing. So I do have a program coming up on Monday. It's called Me Versus Me. It's a 6-week program. It's going to be freaking incredible. We're going to be doing lots of things. So if you're in a place in your life right now where, you know, things are not desirable, maybe it's in all areas or maybe it's only in a few areas, whatever that looks like, comment below this video or send me a private message and let me share with you more about the program that's starting on Monday. Like I said, it's a 6-week program, Me Versus Me, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it's really just you against you, and it's me against me. There is nobody in the outer world. Everything is just you pushed out. Everything in your outer world is just a reflection of you. I promise when you start to learn these truths, your mind will expand. You will realize that you have the power to transform your scenario, your environment, other people. It's incredible. So once again, it's just you pushed out. And a lot of people are like, huh? I might take you a little bit of time. Go to sleep on that one. Everyone is just you pushed out because we're all one. Boy, when I learned that truth, I was like, what? What do you mean? So everyone is just you pushed out. And that your outer world's a reflection of your inner world. And when you begin to learn these things and you start working with energy and you start working with the power of your mind, you literally can create magic. And yeah, that's why one of my other hashtags is Master Manifester. And in fact, my birthday is June 20th, and I'm on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer, which is actually called the cusp of magic. And I was like, yeah, that totally resonates. Because I know I'm very powerful, and I don't mean that in an egoic way. It's just I have a lot of very powerful energy. And so also too, when I support my clients and I'm standing in agreement with them, my clients will get their miracles. They will get their miracles. If they're committed and do what I recommend that they do, and then I'm standing in agreement with them, I have plenty of my clients that will tell you they get their miracles, and it's freaking incredible. I will literally support a person and be in one way and completely shifting to another way. Just happened actually yesterday. And now this client of mine, soul sister, client, friend, has completely shifted from one way to a complete another way, honestly, within, you know, just, I don't know, I think I sent her like a probably 10-minute audio and supported her in shifting. And she actually wrote back and said, you know, honestly, after listening to that, she's like, I shifted and I've been good ever since. Like she did it with the support of what I shared with her, kind of like I'm doing here, but on a much, like a probably deeper scale, I guess you'd say, on a much more grander scale. And with more detail. So anyway, I'm getting all excited. So the reality is though, is it's me versus me. It's you versus you. Nobody's holding you back. When you're pointing your finger at everybody else and trying to blame that it's other people in your life, you know, blaming it on mama. It was my mama's fault. It was my daddy's fault. You know, it's my kid's fault. It's my husband's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's whoever's fault. It's my boss's fault. No, get rid of all that. Get rid of all that and decide right now that you're going to take full responsibility for your life right now and everything that's showing up in your world. Because once you begin to realize that everything is just a reflection of you back to you, then you will say, wait a second, okay, let me now put my energy and attention on shifting these things so that my outer world shows up differently. And that's exactly what happens. Literally, that is exactly what happens. And it's almost so simple that it can be challenging, because it's like, how can it be that simple? But that's really how simple it is. So like I said, I just get really excited. So send me a PM if you require support. I would love to support you. Thank you so much for everyone who was on this live video. Feel free to share this live video, or feel free to tag anyone that you feel might require this information, or share it through Facebook Messenger, because people require hearing and knowing these things. Also check out my YouTube channel. In a little while, I'll probably post the links here. I'll get them from the other videos and copy and paste them here. But I have an emotional detox challenge. It has a bunch of videos in there. It has a bunch of assignments and things you can do to support yourself and having more awareness and detoxing emotionally. And then I have my YouTube channel. And then I'll also post a link to that guided meditation. Thank you so much, Shannon. I appreciate you, gorgeous. So yeah, feel free to shoot me a PM and let's chat on how we can shift that shit, right? Send you guys so much love, super positive, high vibes, healing energy. Mwah. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. And we'll chat soon. Mwah. Bye, guys.